you agree to this being recorded? If so, could you type yes in the text chat? And if you do not agree with this being recorded, and believe us, we don't show any name tags. We're just, screen recording that in Adobe Connect. And in Adobe Connect, we actually have quite a few participants as well. We've got around 7 people here in Adobe Connect. So I'm just going to make participant 11. Okay. I would like to give it a start by thanking everybody to be here. We're going to spend the next hour together, Randall, Cyber, and myself. I will just start to moderate the session as such. I will be introducing to you Randall and Edith, or well, Cyber. Everybody knows her better as Cyber than as Edith Paillat. And Edith will be talking later on a little bit about methodology. How do you actually teach or learn a language in a virtual world? So everything about created learning, emoting, etc. So she will talk us through a little bit of the practical way of teaching in a virtual world. And Randall will talk a little bit about our really great loss, who is Davies of EuroCALL, who left us this year. Yeah, he passed away. And so Randall will be saying a few words about him. I myself will then give a presentation with a preview of the upcoming conference. And before we do all of this, and before I pass over to Randall, whom I would like to introduce as, I would like to ask everybody here in the round to perhaps let us know your professional background. We call this speed networking and have introduced this the first time in the Virtual Roundtable Conference. If you could perhaps in the text chat write down with a one-liner as to whether you're an educator and perhaps at which institution or university you're working at and in which capacity, so that we get a good feeling of the kind of people who are here. There is no must if you don't want to do that. If you want to stay incognito, that's perfectly all right. We would also appreciate you perhaps sharing your Twitter handle if you want to, because we will be tweeting the conference and we will add to the tweets your Twitter handle so that you can retweet this easily and find it in your on your Twitter account. Then we would like to, our main motivation for doing these kind of conferences is that we would like to network everyone here with each other. And so if you want to, you don't have to accept the friend request, but if you could perhaps add each other as friend, we would be delighted. I will also, whilst Randall or Cyber speaking, will send out a general group invite for the SLanguages Annual Symposium group, and if you may also be inclined to do that, join the SL Experiment teacher meeting group, which is now a strong group of 220 teachers. We meet regularly twice a month on EduNation, and we are happy to have you with us. So I would also recommend you to join the Avalon Insight, because every major event, lots of events around virtual worlds is being posted there, also lots of blogs. So this is a little bit our information exchange as a community of virtual worlders, and we also have a wiki for SL Experiment where we share general know-how, lots of links, so you will be informed about this one as well. I would also like to start by thanking the film crew, and above all Marius, for filming this presentation. We're live streaming everything in Adobe Connect, and this is a great situation because there are many people who would like to take part via mobile technology, via the iPad, and they can do so joining the Adobe Connect room. We're happy to give you the link, and the link for the Adobe room is also on the schedules. So if you want to share this with friends and colleagues and say, look, there's something going on great here, have a look inside. We call it the virtual window to a virtual world. So with this, I'm going to pass over to Randall, and Randall Sadler is Associate Professor of Linguistics at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, Urbana Learning, actually it's called, Virtual Worlds and Language Learning, and Teaching of Second Life, Reading and Writing. His main research focus is on the role of technology in language learning, with particular focus on how virtual worlds may be used to enhance that process. He has published in these areas in journals including the Journal of English for Academic Purposes, Calico Journal, and Computer and Education. His latest book, Virtual Worlds, Telecollaboration and Language Learning from Theory to Practice, is published by Peter Lang. He's also the co-owner of the Edunation Island, which are located in the virtual world Second Life, where he may often be found in the guise of this avatar, Randall Renoir. Now, I must admit that in the last 2 years that we've been building Edunation Island, Randall has become a good friend. We've spent numerous hours just laughing our heads off together with Carol. Carol, Randall, and me were really, really strong. Still 2 years down the road, working on Edunation alongside. And Randall is the most fantastic 3D builder ever. I hope you all have a look at the Sky venue, which is his latest production, which is a beautiful Arabic site. And the venue that you see here, this is all his handiwork. I don't know why he's a TESOL trainer, because he could easily go as an architect for me. Not only architecture, but really also landscaping and everything. Wonderful. It's been a great privilege to work with him and with Carol in the last 2 years. And then just after Randall says a few words about Graham, we will be listening to Edith talking about a language learning methodology, and she is a language technology specialist at Victoria University of Wellington in New Zealand. Now you have to bear a little bit with cyber because it's 4 a.m. in the morning for her. And bless her that she actually manages to get up at this time. I think Coronias. Okay, and her special interests are teacher training, coaching, emerging educational technologies, 3D multi-user virtual environments, and following socio-constructivist principles situated in experiential learning and distributed community of practice related to language learning and teaching. And she is obviously, as you know, very passionate. Now, I do remember vividly the one thing, which is she's in our team, I call her the brain, but literally speaking, I attended once a conference in World. I attended a conference in World. My friends, look, there's great presentation going on. Cyber came, and she turned up literally as a brain in a UFO, or we call it UFO, which is like a sort of I don't know what this is called, a flying disc, or alien flying disc, or whatever. And she was sitting next to me the whole presentation, her, just a brain, and me with my, I said, well, you're the brain, I've got the looks. She really is the brain of our group. Okay, I'm going to pass over to Randall now, first of all. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming, and over to you, Randall.
Well, I have nothing else to say. Thank you. That's great. You talked about everything about me, so I don't need to say anything else about me. My part of the welcome is I guess kind of the sad part. You know, many of you may have known Graham Davies in real life or in Second Life as Groovy Winkler, and some of you were probably there at his memorial service that we had as well. So I just want to say a few words about Graham Davies, that he is most certainly missed, like often happens, you know, with Second Life. I met Groovy long before I had met Graham Davies, and you can see up there on the screen that it may be rezzing for you. There's a picture on the left of Graham Davies, and there he is in his rugged, bad hair version as Groovy Winkler. You know, I met him on Edunation years ago now, and I didn't know who he was in real life for months because you know, it wasn't important for him. But if you know anything about Graham Davies in real life, you know, he was one of the absolute founders of many of the innovations in the field of call, and he founded EuroCALL, those of you who are EuroCALL members. So he, for a long time, was the president of EuroCALL, and in addition to his research work and business work, he was a huge fan of Second Life. And he and his wife spent many hours in Second Life. So the first time I met him, he was just like in this picture. I was working on my first house on Edunation, back when I was still a renter on Edunation. And this guy on this horse galloped by, and at that point I'd never seen a Second Life horse, so I was mighty impressed and ran after him to figure out, because I didn't know how to fly yet. So I ran after him to find out where he got his horse, and he was happy to share that information. And then we ran rampage across Edunation on both of us on horses for quite some time. You know, and I eventually found out who he was in real life and was even more impressed. But he was a good, fun-loving, wonderful guy, and he was just always nice to be with. So, just a few other pictures of Graham. I don't want to say too much. You know, we had a memorial service for him, but I just think it's important that we spent a minute or two remembering him here as well. The picture there you see on the bottom is at, I'm trying to remember which conference that was at.
Randall.
Uh-huh.